Well, hey, welcome everybody to another fun episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. Maybe not as fun as last episode, but this one's going to be amazing as well. My name's Ken Close. I'm an engineer, lover of Healy technology, pioneer member since way back in the Stone Age. And I'm joined here and happy to be here, by the way, joined by our head of ops, Jake Barron in Florida. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here today.
But your weather's a little bit more kind than mine is here in the Pacific Northwest. It's getting to be
Hopefully.
winter time almost.
Yeah.
And so we also have our head of onboarding. We got Henry Pena here, also in Miami. Welcome, or not Miami, but in Florida. Hey, welcome, Henry.
Hey Ken, thank you so much. Yeah, the weather is fantastic. I was just outside. I meditated for like 15 minutes and it was delightful.
Delightful. I love that. Yeah, so the Pacific Northwest, probably closer to even when Jenny's here from Toronto, maybe closer to what their weather is as well. We've got a bit of a blustery day, but hey, you know what? It's still a great day to be on Tech Tip Tuesday and welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. So let's talk a little bit about how this works, guys. For you that are new, welcome, welcome, welcome again. Those of you that have not been here before, what we do here, this is a chat-based forum, so it's really not a structured boundary in terms of what we cover. We cover quite a bit of things around the technology, the apps, the quantum influence, even we tap into epigenetics every now and then. It's kind of a fun topic. What we can't talk about is things around how to diagnose, heal, prevent, or treat specific diseases. We do have resources we can point you guys to try to help with that. But other than that, anything techie is all about Tech Tip Tuesday. So, so guys, if you're ready to get this party started, start throwing your questions into the chat, and we will unpack those things and see what we come up with. Sound fun?
Sounds great.
Let's do it. We actually have already a question in the chat.
I love it. Well, head us off, Henry. What is it?
So it says, Majori asked, in a previous call, you recommended doing 5 programs in vibrate mode for a short period, 6 to 8 times in a day. Have I been doing it wrong if I do fitness group for 27 minutes, about a half hour before I do my exercise? Is that too much?
Mm, great question, huh? So, I mean, Henry, and we talk about this often, how we apply this technology to the body. We have various ways that we apply it, right? So, what's some of the applications? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so in this particular case, I can see that we were talking about the vibration mode. This is from the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app. Something that is important to keep in mind when we're using this app is that when we're talking about the physical aspect of it, it's going to be a very gentle, very subtle, very fundamental type of application because we're focusing on information. Remember, when we're talking about the Healy 2 app, we're talking mostly about energy, it's a more tangible phenomenon as information. Information is to be considered the most fundamental property that makes up absolutely everything, even more fundamental than energy. So when you apply vibrations, you're really it's basically just resonance patterns. It will not really have a drastic physical impact on you. So the chances of you overdoing it, like I know, Majority, what your question was, is that too much? Chances are it's not really too much. Why is the importance of repeating the process multiple times? Because when we're talking about the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app, this app focuses a lot on personal growth and changing the way you think and changing the way you behave, right? So if you're somebody who wants to exercise in a more effective manner, then the way you would approach this is when you vibrate this multiple times a day, you're constantly reminding yourself every time you perform the ritual of going into the app, going back to the previous history, looking at that vibration you're about to run and running it, even if it's for just 1 minute and 20 seconds, but performing that ritual multiple times a day reinforces all the thoughts, all the beliefs, all of the behaviors that would allow you to become that version of yourself that you're trying to achieve through the vibration. So it's not so much about whether or not it's going to have a strong physical effect on your body. It's more about the fact that the more times you do it throughout your day, even if it's short periods of time, you are reminding yourself of that. It's like having little notes around your house, in the mirror, in the bathroom, in your bedroom, reminding yourself of whatever affirmations you're trying to do. And the same thing, exactly the same thing applies for the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app. As I always tell everybody, the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app is basically a manifestation tool, and it should be treated as such. Therefore, it's not really a problem if you do it for 27 minutes. If that's the method that you find that it's going to be more beneficial for you, let's say you don't have time or you don't want to spread it throughout your day, but we strongly believe that the more, even if it's short periods of time, the more you're able to spread these vibrations, the more you're going to be reminded of the purpose behind these vibrations and the effects that you're going to experience, and the transformation process is going to be stronger.
I like what you said there, Henry, because it's, just like, I don't know, in any other modality, if you're going to go and work out, let's just say you start a fitness program, right? Or you're working on some kind of a dietary restructuring. Even with our dietary restructuring, there's, 3 times a day, 6 times a day, there's several times a day that you're going to ingest food. Why? Well, because when you have a meal, you're satiated, you're full, right? Your body has to process this on a three-dimensional space. It is tangible matter in space and time. And yet, when we're applying these frequencies, this is from a quantum perspective. We're looking at energy, and but yet we need the body to have time to acclimate to the experience. And as you said, also the experience itself, doing the job, doing the work, moving the hands and feet, start to build default neural networks in the brain, right? Just as these frequencies build influence in the biology. So that's important. One of the things that's important is, again, when we're talking about the different application methods, when we're working with the microcurrent is where you're strapped up, ladies and gentlemen. You're hooked up, right? You've got either the sticky pads on your body, wires going from the sticky pad to the Healy, or you've got the wristbands, okay? When you're strapped up, you're applying a very physical electron flow, right? This is really physical. I mean, it is actually using the conduction of your body to move electrons from point A to point B. And on those electrons it's a carrier wave for frequency in the frequencies of the program. So that's a bit more physical, more tangible, more three-dimensional influence, and still the body needs time to process the information and allow the body, just like a diet program or an exercise program, the body has to process what the physical aspects that you're applying to it. So giving time. That's why we recommend, or Healy recommends, 3 of the microcurrent programs per day, right? Given that time for that high amplitude of influence, right? That tangible three-dimensional matter to be adjusted. Different than, say, the coil, where now we're looking at magnetic energy. It's an invisible force that goes through the body. Yes, still influencing matter, but more subtly. And then with the vibration mode from the Blue app, again, another layer of more subtlety that allows us to transfer this information. So the bottom line, folks, is listen to your body, right? I mean, well, I always say this all the time, no matter what you're doing, if you go to the gym and you overdo it, your body's going to tell you so very quickly, and you're going to be, maybe it was leg day and you're just going to have a hard time sitting down. So it's a very tangible influence, and your body can speak to you, giving you information and cues as to, did you overdo it? Should you back off a bit? I like to go in multiple modalities. I've been using this long enough, but when I first start anything, I'm typically very diligent about recording my body's response, as well as logging the amount of time I've influenced my body, and with what substance, or with what modality. So then I have a record, right? And then the next day I do a similar thing. I can ramp up over time. I can back off, whatever it takes. So listening to our body, very important. But I love this question about trying to sort out things. What's kind of good for me? And that's the best question right there. What is good for me and what's my body doing? Right? Okay. Um, Jake, you got
So,
anything you want to add to that?
I mean, well, you guys answered it perfectly, but sort of on the similar topic, she had mentioned using these or vibrating these programs before doing exercise. And Ken, I know you've talked a lot about, not vibrating the programs during exercise, but when
Mhm.
you have this protocol of maybe using a coil with also the electrodes and running strength or muscle harmony or something like that too while you're doing an exercise. But do you have any tips
Mhm.
for if focusing on the analyze not before, but as far as maybe something that would be beneficial to use during or even after doing some sort of exercise?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I did do a little episode that we shared with Healy. There was a while back a little episode about how I use the multiple modalities to influence biology. Now, the microcurrent, like I said, is one of the most tangible. So, um, from an engineering perspective, I tend to bring things together that are coherent, right? We have in the laws of physics, we have what we call constructive interference and destructive interference, right? Constructive interference means that when you're putting multiple things together, they're constructing a pattern that is beneficial. Okay, it's improving or increasing the amplitude of effect. Destructive interference is when you bring two things together and they nullify or reduce the amplitude of influence by each other. So the cool thing about Healy is all three of these modalities, the microcurrent, the coil, the blue app, or the information field influence, all three of these are coherent. And I like to bring into play more tangible things that if I'm working out or if I'm going to the gym, just another thing is nutrient timing. When you're taking in nutrients, there's maybe a pre-workout nutrition, there's a during workout nutrition, and there's a post-workout nutrition to make sure the body is fortified. So if you're talking about things what you would do prior, the analysis is a great thing to take a look at. Putting in an intention and let this analysis, this engine, right? It's a random noise generator system that interfaces with your consciousness, and let this system kind of give you some advice, right? Then you can take that advice and run that advice prior, but during, it's similar to drinking water while you're working out. You're putting this tangible stuff into your body that your body needs right now. And I like to use microcurrent. I like to use microcurrent because if I'm working out, I can use from the fitness program, the muscle program, perhaps. That's really building protein synthesis, amino acid transport, mitochondrial function, right, around muscle during the action. So I like to use the microcurrent, and then simultaneously, having because I have multiple Healys, I'll have another Healy over there with the well, not over there. I have usually clipped on my body, right, with the coil. And with the coil, I might be running something from the endurance or strength protocols um, in the fitness app as well. Now I'm building strong muscle because I'm using that strength program. I'm using the microcurrent. And then if I really want to add another trifecta to the whole things, I'll have my Mag Healy, right? And from the Mag Healy, I could run many things around stamina, things that I'm trying to support the body with while I'm in action. Just intuitively think about that. While you're in action, what would be your support network? Right? And then you glean those programs to actually have that support network in a frequency base or energetic support base in that moment. Right? And then there's the whole after protocol about recovery, and we do the same thing. Okay, so you just kind of use that theory, that philosophy, that how you do pre-workout, during workout, post-workout, or even if it's some other activity in your life, not necessarily a workout, but maybe you're going to go up and do a presentation on stage. what would support you post and pre, during, you can wear your Healy. I wear my Healy on stage wherever I'm at, but you could do some things pre, such as stress management, right? There's some acute programs for stress management. Down regulate the body, relax it, put it back into parasympathetic or rest and digest. So you go up there calm, cool, and collected, right? Okay. So those are some things that I like to build these trifectas or these supportive networks around constructive interference for whatever we're doing. Does it make sense? You're muted
Absolutely.
there, Jake. You're muted.
Well, okay. No, I was going to say that was great, and of course, a little like a mini class on using Healy before, during, and after exercise there too. And of course, this recording will be available on our YouTube channel that we talked about. If you wanted to go back and reference any of those great tips that Ken just had to share there too. So.
Right on. Well, thanks you guys for the questions. So Lisa's asking, hey, I have several Healys from the original professional programs. I haven't turned on my Healys or used them in over a year. Girl, you got a lot of fun stuff coming up. I'm telling you, what we've done in a year, what Healy's done in a year. Woohoo! So what would be the best way to get back into the swing of things, right? Including updating the app. So first one, yes, step one, update the apps. We get the new apps. We got the Healy 2 app, which is the new pink app, and you can see off my shoulder over here. They look a little different now. This is the new Healy app. That's what it looks like. And then we have the Heal Advisor app, the affectionately known as the blue app, still pink and blue, right? But those are the new versions, the newest versions, and they interface so much differently and better with the Healy hardware. Still, it will still interface with your Healy hardware. No big deal. The other ones where you would need to log in. Now, let's see, a year ago, yeah, we were past the old master key thing, so you don't have to worry about that. The login credentials that you have for your Healy Shop will still be the same ones you would log in to the Heal Advisor and the Heal Analyze. The advisor has had some updates. That's the one with the squiggly lines over here, right there, that guy right there. Some cool stuff in there. You have the Heal Advisor search capacity. So again, your professional, your version, your edition will still function just fine. All of the programs will populate into the new Healy app, and you'll be able to use them just the same. About the only thing you'll have to do is it's a little different, when you go and you activate the app with the Healy and that whole kind of upregulation. The apps, when you first load them, they're just like skeletal structures. They're really not complete yet until you activate them. The Healy 2 app is done, again, the same way, either scanning the QR code on the back of your Healy, and then it uploads the edition. All of the programs you have for it will populate in the app, and then boom, you're kind of ready to go. The blue app, you're going to log into it using your credentials. You can do all that without the Healy even being turned on, right? And then you can turn the Healy on and it will find it, and then you can start using the different programs. It looks a little different, but there has been some training on the new versions, and you can jump into those and see the visuals. Those are really great. We have those. That's in the Academy, right, Jake?
Yes, yeah. So all the different videos in Healy Academy too. We'll put some links into the chat here for you as well. And actually, you're in the right place. If it's been over a year, you probably maybe aren't even aware of our Healy onboarding sessions too. Henry Pena, he's our global onboarding specialist, and pretty much most days of the week there's some sort of onboarding session going on. And even though you're not new, but if it's been over a year and you want to get up to speed on the different apps and how to use them too, I think it would benefit you to sign up for these different sessions that are available. There's actually 3 different ones, and we can put those links into the chat also for where to sign up. But there's one specifically on kind of getting started with your Healy device, which focuses mainly on the Healy 2 app. So running the programs with, say, the coil or microcurrent or with the cables, that kind of thing. There's another one on the Analyze app, so where you do the resonance analysis and that kind of thing. And then also a third one just on the Heal Advisor app too, where you or the search module that some people kind of call that particular app. So there's a ton of great resources. There's also you can when you join those live, you can ask questions directly to Henry in those sessions too. Yeah, we'll put all those and the coach module as well. That's covered a little bit in these trainings too. And there's in our Healy World YouTube channel. So this is something that it's been around for a couple of years, but it's can you see my screen? Yeah, okay. So this is it was sort of rebranded the Healy World Learning Hub. I don't know, it's probably been almost a year now, maybe, but this is where we put all of the recordings. So recordings of say like today's meeting, Tech Tip Tuesday, those are on here as well. You'll see there was a master class in October with Martin Whitman talking about the Mag Healy scientific basis. There's some advanced trainings from the APAC region that are available here. I mean, and these are super in depth. If you want to really go deep into some of these topics, you see this one here from September was almost 3 hours long. So this is again, really comprehensive training on some of these topics. And then our frequencies and friends, which is kind of the monthly kickoff where we talk about all the new events and announcements and promotions and that kind of stuff. That was just yesterday. This recording's available on our YouTube channel. But if you're focusing on onboarding and getting started, if you go to the playlist section here, you'll see there's one called Healy Onboarding. And if you click View Full Playlist, you'll see the different onboarding sessions. These are recorded sessions that Henry did, and you'll see here there's one getting started with your Healy device. This is the first onboarding session. Then there's one on the Analyze 2 app, Spanish versions of each of these also, but then also the Heal Advisor app. So there's 3 main onboarding sessions available in both English and Spanish. And you can join those live, which are great because then it's interactive and you can ask questions along the way, or you can join live, and you can also always check the recordings later too to go back and reference certain parts and things like that too. So it's a really is a great resource. And then when we talk about like Tech Tip Tuesday, for example, if you want to go back and for example, you miss a week or this call today, if this will be available on our YouTube channel by tomorrow. You'll see there's a playlist for, where is it? Tech Tip Tuesday down here. Oh, there's, see Ken as Elvis there. But yeah, if you watched last week's episode, we all looked a little bit different. We had some cool costumes going on there too. But all of the recordings are available here, and they're all detailed too. If you click into the description for each of them when you're watching the video, they're all hyperlinked. So like if you go, hey, there's Ken. It was a lot of fun. Let's see here. There's Henry from last week, for those of you that missed it. And there's myself from last week. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But as I mentioned, if you click on the More section, all the different topics or questions that we addressed are all hyperlinked. So there's a timestamp for each. So if you're wanting to review last week and you're like, hey, when did they talk about this one question? It'll be hyperlinked, and you can just click on it and it'll take you right to that section. So you don't have to scroll through the whole video to find those questions too. So it's all very detailed, very easy to reference later also. And then of course, so, we have the onboarding sessions live and recorded. We have the Healy World Learning Hub YouTube channel, and then Healy Academy as well, which is what you see here. And this is where all the training videos are. There's tons and tons of videos here too. So for example, if you want to learn just about the main Healy product and the Healy 2 app, there's this whole section here. First steps, installing and connecting, setting up and running programs, troubleshooting, Bluetooth connection, how the Healy programs work. So this gets into like what's actually going on with your Healy device when you're running a program there too. There's some information about the bioenergetic field. Saying again, similar set of videos, you mentioned the coaching module. There's a whole section in here about the coach module. So if you click on this, there's different videos, introduction to the coaching module, psychological basics. There's some videos in here related to quantum physics, quantum entanglement as well. But these are great videos that give you a really just a good sort of overview of everything and how it works. So you'll feel more comfortable when you go to run one of these programs, or how to get the most out of, for example, the coaching module. And then if you want to get into the science behind it, you see there's science behind elements, information field, magnetic field frequencies, meridians, and so on. You can take different courses for each of these also. So you take a little course after you watch a series of videos, you can take a course, and then you get a certificate when you complete that at the end. And there's also at the bottom here, there's a download section. So if you want to, say, for example, you want to download the Healy app manual, which is a great resource too, because it's a very long document, like 48 pages long, but it goes into more details about each of the programs and the program groups. Okay, for example, Power of Three. What is this program group for? Like, why does this program group exist? It talks a little bit about that and some more details on the individual programs within that too. So you can go in here and you can sort by the different types of documents that are available here. But for example, if you go to manuals, like we just talked about, let's see, there's a Mag Healy manual, a manual for the Healy app, which is the Healy 2 app, and the Analyze app, which is the Analyze 2 app. And there's also one related to iPayout, which is the, if you earn any commissions or bonuses from referring Healys, there's some details there too. But there's lots of different topics in here, different brochures on the different programs and presentations and all kinds of stuff too. So you could spend quite a long time here just navigating through Healy Academy. But I always like to just to tell people, maybe once a day, just watch one new video, or once a week, spend an hour or two and watch a few videos as well, just to kind of help get back up to speed. But really, those onboarding sessions that Henry do are really an amazing way to get a good basis for all the different devices and apps and everything that we have available.
I always tell people to spend about 30 minutes a day at least in Healy school, right? Because you can, I don't know if 30 minutes is enough, but at least, it gives something practical that you can attach to. But the Academy is the place to go. And then the YouTube channels, those are huge assets, and they've evolved so much over the last year. So the number of recordings, and they're not Tech Tip Tuesdays every week. So there's 52 new ones in there in a year. So, well, we skip them every now and then because there's other things going on, but it's pretty consistent. All right. So thanks, Jake. Appreciate that. So Grace is asking a great question. I love this question because we talked about paying attention to the body. Grace says, what would be some of the body cues that you've overdone it? So this is important, folks, because, let's just say that you had a heck of a day, right? And it was stressful. And we do what we overdid the day, right? It was just super stressful. Maybe you didn't eat right that day. You skipped breakfast and you had to work through lunch. By the end of the day, you were worn out. So there's some physical cues your body gives you that you're just not, that the body is in a rebuild mode or in a stress response. And they're typically discomforts. Some of the typical ones that you've overdone, some of the energetic influences, aka Healy programs or even micro programs. Some of the cues are what we would call maybe detox symptoms, similar to detox symptoms, such as headaches, muscle aches, brain fog, things that just the energy is just gone, right? Unusually gone or low. So those are kind of things that the body is trying to manage its actions in the moment, whatever you're doing, right? You're driving home from work or whatever, managing the actions in the moment and trying to repair or I should say buffer from the lack of nutrients and the lack of energy to perform those functions. So our bodies think about this for a second. There's a awareness system called the reticular activating system. It's aware of 400 billion bits of information per second, right? So there's a lot going on, within this awareness. When we're driving home from work or we're doing some things, in a conversation with a friend or even on this Tech Tip Tuesday episode, our awareness right now, conscious awareness, is 2,000 bits. 2,000 bits. That's an average. 2,000 bits. This is neuroscience kind of stuff, guys. So 2,000 bits of information in our conscious awareness. Overall awareness is 400 billion bits of information. Okay, so there's a lot going on in the background that we're just not consciously aware of. And the body's going to always operate to the survival mechanism, right? It's going to survive. It's going to keep the vital organs alive. So this is a great example is when maybe if you're out in the weather and in the cold, like in my case, in my area, maybe not in Orlando, but over here in the Pacific Northwest, it's a bit colder and you're overexposed. What happens is the body starts to naturally regulate energy from the extremities into the core of the body. So your fingers and your toes get cold, your extremities get cold, energy and circulation and nutrients are starting to be robbed from those areas. So when we've overdone anything, the body's going to naturally allocate its resources to the vital systems, the brain, the organs. And so no different than if we're overdoing maybe microcurrent treatments or even things in the information field. You'll start to feel the resources being drawn away from extremities. You're going to start to feel that's where headaches start to come up. You feel that tension in the neck, some of that odd stiffness that you weren't used to. So that it's similar to some of the detox symptoms. That's how you can kind of tell you've overdone things. It's a different things for different bodies, but those are some global overall symptoms, I guess you might say. Anything you guys want to add to the Grace's question? No?
Nothing in
You're
particular. No, I
muted, Jake.
think
You're muted.
Yeah, I keep muting myself. No, but yeah, this is a question. I remember someone asked this a couple days ago, and we were having a conversation about it. And yeah, some people there's never any really issues at all. They get started with the Healy, they run 3 programs a day, and they're fine. Other people brand new to Healy, they'll start running and someone recommends, hey, run 3 programs a day. They run 3 programs a day, and they're like, whoa, this is a little bit too much for me right now too. So it really varies on the individual too. And that's why, as Ken mentioned, or just in general, listening to your body as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
like it's some people experience certain things, other people never. Like, what are you talking about?
I like to I describe that to people like you. Some people are early responders and some of them are not. Early responders tend to really feel something like right away and super intense. Those people might be ones that are more sensitive to energy and things like that. Others are just thick skinned, it's just don't it takes a while or it takes more amplitude. And that's okay. Either way, there's no way that either one's not right or wrong. It's just being aware. And so being aware of your body and its typical operating system. And we're going to, when you start using Healy, you're going to throw it into a whole different operating system. You're going to throw it into a more energetic awareness. Frequency is global within these bodies. Everything is energy. You've heard this before, yes? Everything is energy from the chair you're sitting in now to the skin cells on your body. Everything is energy. What separates the form is frequency. The chair has more slower frequency, more density, skin a little bit more pliable, and so a little higher frequency. But there is a different frequency for every bit of energy, every bit of matter, I should say, because it requires some solidification of information or a signal to take all potential and solidify it into material form. So everything is energy. If everything was energy, then there would be no separation. And if we had no separation there, we couldn't tell me from Jake, from Henry, from any of you guys. We'd all be just a big old pile of energy. but there must be some separation of some sort, right? And that's where frequency comes in to give us a very specific code or a definition. And everything within you as a person also has those, from your emotions to the different organs to everything you ingest has different frequencies. So bodies process it a little bit different. Paying attention to that, right? Pay attention to that. Marjorie, thank you for your input here. There's a great testimonial right here. Marjorie says, hey, you know what? My tennis game has drastically improved since using the Mag Healy. Even her opponents are saying, oh my goodness, you know, she's 66 and probably kicking their butt, aren't you? Rarely getting sore. And then if so, a couple days later, she says, I'm back in the game, right? So
Right.
that's the point, guys, is that there is an asset, right? There's an asset that we can use to just accent the things that we like to do in our lives. And when it comes to frequency, Healy is the thing. All right, let's see. What else we got, guys? We got any more new questions?
Let's see, where did it go? We had a question about HighWave. So Alisa was asking what's the Healy HighWave? The picture looks like a coil. So yeah, from the picture it does look like a coil, but it's actually much. I'm wearing mine right now. I'm running a HighWave program in the cell wave program group right now. But it's yes, from the when the Healy's not on it, yeah, it does. This part here kind of looks like a coil, at least the shape of the coil, but that's not what is actually happening there too. It's not the type of technology that's being used. It's actually completely different, completely new. It's a patented technology for Healy here as well. And it's I was actually going to go back to Healy Academy because there's a newer video too that really does a great job of explaining the science behind. It's a little bit more comprehensive than some of the resources available on our Healy shop. But if you go again, Henry shared the link to log into Healy Academy. But if you go there and a reminder to log into Healy Academy, if it's been more than a year or so, you're going to use the same login credentials that you do to get into Healy Shop, that you do to get into your Analyze app. It's all the same, one password throughout the entire Healy platform there. But this one, if you go back to the science section and go to frequency carrier wave, that's this video here, the science behind the HighWave, and talks about how the Healy HighWave modulates Healy frequencies onto a high frequency carrier wave. So basically, we're taking there's two program groups specifically designed for the HighWave, the MindWave program group and the CellWave program group. But one of the cool things about the HighWave is that you can use the HighWave with majority of the other Healy programs that you already have access to. So any of the programs that have the IMF logo in the top right, so the ones that are designed to be used, say, with the Coil, you can also use those with the HighWave. So you're not limited to just those two new program groups. You can expand it and use your favorite programs with the HighWave as well. But basically, it's taking those frequencies, attaching them to a high frequency carrier wave. It's actually a lot of times we round up and say 5 megahertz, but it's a 4.97, right? Is I think the exact frequency that it's attached to, which allows those frequencies to travel evenly throughout the entire body. So if you say you're wearing your HighWave on your wrist here, you're getting the same intensity, same level of frequency all the way in your toes, in your head, like everywhere as well, because that higher frequency is easier for it to move throughout the body and to deliver those targeted frequencies directly to the cells rather than having to fight its way sort of through the body as well. So, the Healy tops out at 1 megahertz. This goes up to 5 megahertz there as well. So it's a higher frequency and really allows those frequencies. And there's some cool. I don't remember if that video with Marcus and Kai is on our YouTube channel or not, but there was a video when HighWave launched that kind of showed and actually measure the frequency. The HighWave was put on the arm, and then the frequencies were measured here, and then measured also in different parts of the body, and it was the same throughout the entire body. So that frequency was in all parts of the body was being basically evenly delivered too. So it's very cool. Like you don't have to wear the HighWave. It's designed for the wrist, but you could just place it on your shoulder. You could place it on your back. You could put it on your leg. You could put it on your ankle, whatever, and you're going to get the same benefits throughout your entire body that you do.
Yeah, we did a little bit of coverage. Kim is asking, can the grandfathered Healys be used in the HighWave? And we did a little bit of coverage on that a couple episodes back on Tech
Yeah.
Tip Tuesday, showing some physical aspects of the HighWave and its design for accommodating the metal clip design cabinet, right? The Healys with the metal clip. And so the archived or the grandfathered ones, they had this plastic clip, right? And the difference in that plastic clip is that plastic clip has this little barb on it that tends to hang up when you're trying to get it out of the HighWave. And then there's some folks who talked about, they didn't have a clip at all, right? Because theirs was either broken or whatever. And again, we talked about the importance of the clip and how it mechanically anchors the Healy hardware into the HighWave device, right? Yeah, it plugs in the same. The grandfathered Healys plug in the same, right? They're the same connections, the same form, but it's that clip to help create a more solid connection physically, mechanically, right? Where that clip goes inside of the HighWave to hold it from kind of the ability for it to break off, I guess you might say, because that's the problem. That's the problem is that clip must go into the slot of the HighWave so that in case it gets caught, you're wearing on your wrist, you catch that cabinet of the Healy that has no anchor back there. You catch that cabinet on something and it can damage the HighWave. Okay. So that's the key thing is it's important to have the proper cabinet casing with the metal clip. We need that. I'm not saying it doesn't work with the grandfather, but now you know the risk. Okay. We did talk about that. What was that? Not the fun episode last time with all the costumes, but we had a couple we skipped, right? So it was
Yeah, Henry put the link in there for the Healy for Beginners and Beyond, the deep dive we did. We did it on a Tuesday, but it was in place of Tech Tip Tuesday. But it was technically a Healy for Beginners and Beyond, and the entire episode was on HighWave. So definitely check that one out too.
there you go. Okay. And so Kim says I've never had a Healy that kept its clip for more than 6 months. Again, it's that's one of the things that evolution teaches us in manufacturing, in development, in products, in whatever. I'm an engineer. I did the same thing. When you first design something, you can't really build for every possible conscious concept, right? It's really tough to even know because it's not until you put the thing out in the world that consciousness starts to change and evolve and use it in ways you never thought of. So it's just one of those things that you can't predict that until it happens. All right.
And the other thing I want to add there is like just a reminder for everybody who may have an older Healy device with a plastic clip or a broken clip that we do offer that replacement option. It's available to you online. All you have to do is go to the Healy Shop and you're going to be able to get a brand new Healy with a brand new 2-year warranty. So it will replace the hardware that you have, which is already an older hardware. It could be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years old. We would give you the newer hardware, which has a metal clip, which is technically much more stronger, and that's the one that we definitely recommend that you use with the HighWave. You shouldn't have any trouble with that one. But yeah, it's as simple as I saw that Kim said, oh, I didn't know that. So yes, this is what I always tell everybody in our Healy onboarding sessions. You don't need, if you own a Healy device, it doesn't matter if it's an Obsidian, it doesn't matter if it's a grandfather device, a newer device. You never have to go on the Healy Shop website and purchase a brand new Healy device full price, unless your intention is to have a second one or have some one for another person. If it's for yourself and you just want to replace one that you had that maybe you're having problems with, it doesn't work anymore, something happened to it and the warranty, it will not be covered by the warranty. You can always go onto the website, go replacements, purchase a new one. The old one will get deactivated. So you can just return that one to us, and the new one will have all of your programs, a brand new hardware with strong metal clip, and remember, very important, 2-year warranty. So it's basically like purchasing a brand new device, but for a discounted price. And that's only valid for those who already have a Healy device, which again, if you have a grandfather Healy device, that's you too.
I love it. I love it. I love the audience is helping out here too, anyone who's been out of the game for a minute. Marjorie's saying, "Hey, I've been here for 5 years." You know what? Same. When with the old pioneers, right? We've been working with Healy for a very, very long time. You get to know all the little ins and outs and workarounds and all that kind of stuff. So thanks, Marjorie, for offering some help to Lisa there in the chat. That's great. Let's see what else we got, guys. Anything else? Jake's put the link in there for the replacement page on the Healy Shop. So it's a lot less money for that to buy a new chunk of hardware, right? You buy a new hardware and you get a whole kit, by the way. You don't get just a Healy. You get the whole kit. What comes in the kit? Everything to use your Healy with, right? So you got new cables, you got new sticky pads, you got the new Healy hardware, you got new wristbands. Boom, you get the whole thing. So all you do is just activate it in your account. Everything about your account just transfers over to that hardware. It's easy. All right. So I like it. I like it. Let's see what else we got, guys. We pretty much caught up. Jake mentioned briefly the Healy, the Frequencies and Friends that went on yesterday. That recording, by the way, the new stuff coming up, for the month of November, that's in there, by the way. Take a look at some specials. Take a look at things.
Yeah, there's of course November is usually it's always the best promotions of the month too. There's a lot of
Of
great
the year.
bundles this year also, like the Healy and the Mag Healy together with the HighWave, or the Healy Obsidian with the Mag Healy and the HighWave 2 together too. Some of the best pricing of the year if someone's looking to get a brand new one. Of course, we talked about the replacement option, but anyone looking new to join to Healy or add on a Mag Healy or whatever the case may be too, those are all available. And it's up the whole month. So this isn't something that we're waiting till Black Friday or Thanksgiving week or anything like that. Those promos went live yesterday and they're available throughout the entire month of November.
And you're saving, I mean, thousands, right? I mean, you can, yeah, there's tons of savings in there. No matter what bundle you're doing, there's lots of savings. All right. Let's see what else. And by the way, some of you guys that maybe have an edition of Healy that you're so excited about maybe some new stuff. There's also some upgrade promotions, by the way. Upgrades are always great too. Where you can get just a whole bunch more use out of your Healy. All right. So Lisa's saying she's having some trouble logging in. Who do I contact? You know what's really cool? Here's another really cool thing. The shop page now has Harmony. Now, when I say Harmony, that's an AI engine. That's Harmony. We can go and talk to Harmony. The shop page has that, plus live support Monday through Friday. What is it? Is it 9 to 5 Eastern? Is that the hours?
8 to 5.
8 to 5 Eastern. So go to your shop. You don't even have to log in, by the way, to use Harmony. You can just go to the shop page. If you're logged in, great. It's at the bottom right corner. You'll see there's a little chat icon down there, which is where Harmony is. You can actually just say what you're having trouble with, and Harmony will guide you into how to log in. As well as you can, if it's not being solved, you can be moved over to live chat and get somebody from customer service assisting you right now. But we can do it
See,
too.
actually, on Frequencies and Friends yesterday, we gave a little recap of, because we launched Harmony starting in the US back in February. And
Yeah.
so far, it has expanded to EMEA, recently expanded to the Asia Pacific region and some of the countries there. And Harmony's handled over 20,000 conversations so far this year, which is great. And, does a great job for, the basics, like guiding people through the troubleshooting steps with their devices or apps or product advice and what comes with this and what comes with that. And if for login issues, Harmony would tell you to go through a couple different steps. It will send you a reset link to where to reset your password. And if that still doesn't work, as Ken mentioned, if you're still having trouble and that reset link doesn't work, Harmony will transfer you to one of our live agents. If it's during business hours, if it's after hours, it'll create a support ticket for you, and our team would follow up with you the next business day.
So when it comes to logging in, Lisa, so all of those changes are done. If you're a member, you've got your back office, but all those changes are also done in the shop page. So you would use the shop page to do all those logins and those resets of your password, that kind of stuff. And remember that you have a username and you have an email, right? And now the single sign-on process has combined that so you could use your email. But using the shop page is going to be your biggest asset for getting that cured. And then, so sometimes you may need to just make sure you're logged out of everything and then log back in. If you've reset your password, make sure you do that, log out, log in. Yeah, so then it'll take hold, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And Henry put a tip in there related to the signing process too.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's always for pretty much any problem, I always recommend using Harmony. So using the live chat feature on our website because it's really just the most effective and efficient way to address any question that you have. If you find that you're able to navigate our website and find the tools yourself, then perfectly fine. Like for example, that password reset link that I shared there, I found that by navigating on our website. So you would go to the website, log in, and you go on the sign in with Healy. That's gonna take you to a different login screen, and then at the bottom you would see forgot password, and then that's where I got that link from. But you can just click there, try to reset your password. You should be getting that email with the confirmation of the password reset, so you can do it. And then afterwards, you do want to go to the pink button that says sign in with Healy. That's where you log in. You're going to find at the bottom under that, you're going to find a different login window. I don't recommend using that one. It may work, but honestly, I usually recommend going on the pink one that says sign in with Healy. But again, for pretty much anything, if you're ever having trouble navigating something, do trust Harmony because it has the answers for a lot of different questions. And remember that if it's not able to answer, you can always just request to speak to a live technical support representative or a customer care representative, and we'll be happy to transfer a chat and help you with any questions or issues you may have.
So, she's she's asking a question about on the bottom of what? That is on your shop page.
Also, yes, correct, exactly. So that's on the Healy Shop website, which it's the the link I sent you. It's already it's a login screen for the Healy Shop, but let me send you the main one for the Healy Shop so you have it. This would be the one for the US, by the way, but you can always change the country if needed. So this is that's the link for the Healy Shop. So that's where you would change your password. Remember, once you change your password, if you're able to log in to the Healy Shop, if you're able to change your password and you're able to log into the Healy Shop, that will give you access to absolutely everything, to the Healy Academy, to the back office, if you're an independent Healy World member, to the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app, to the Healy Advisor app. Everything will use the exact same login information. The only exception is going to be the back office, because the back office does require you to use your username, which you can always find on the dashboard at the top of the Healy Shop. Once you log in, you're going to see your username right there. Okay, I'm in dashboard now. Fantastic, excellent. So there you go. So once you do that, then you will have access to pretty much every platform from there.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
actually, if it's been over a year, one of the newer features in the Healy Shop when you're logged in there, if you say you have multiple Healy devices and you want to transfer one to somebody else, you can actually do that. There's a device transfer section, automated device transfer section within Healy Shop now too. You'll see it in the main menu there and the dashboard that you go there, and any devices that are listed on your account, you can select that device and then put in the 12-digit ID of who you want to transfer it to. The person that you transfer it to has to have a Healy account already. If they don't, they can create one for free just as a customer. It'll give them the 12-digit ID, and then you can transfer it to. But you don't have to send a request to the customer care team anymore to transfer a device to someone else. You can do it yourself through the Healy Shop now too, which is another great feature.
Yeah,
And I love what Lisa's saying. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna add, because I saw Lisa said that she has 3 different Healys, and that she may have set them up with different accounts. So one way for you to check that, you go on your account, then you on your name, you're gonna see that it's gonna be a drop-down menu. One of them is gonna say devices. That's where you can see the devices associated with each account you're logged in. So if you only see one device, then chances are, yes, you may have 3 different devices, and each of them is assigned to different accounts. And all the transfer process, which is honestly what I would recommend that you do, is that you choose which account you want to keep, because it can get pretty confusing when you have 3 different accounts with 3 different devices, unless that's what you want for some reason. But honestly, what I would recommend is that you manage how to access to each of the accounts and transfer them. As Jake said, you can do that from yourself. You can do it from your dashboard. You transfer it to the all 3 devices to the same account that you want to keep. And if you want, you can always ask us to delete the other 2 accounts if that's what you prefer. But I definitely recommend trying to have all 3 devices associated with your account, just to avoid confusion.
Yeah, and it can get confusing, especially when you're trying to, if you ever try to upgrade, or if you're ever trying to, kind of find out what's on which edition. You got to log in and log out and log in and log out to each individual account. So, I'm with you, Henry. I recommend that you get one master account, whatever the account you want it to have, and then transfer all those devices into that one account. And then the cool thing about that is it's one place to monitor everything, right? So Lisa's not finding where to see her devices on the dashboard. Jake, you've got a generic account, right? A shop
Um,
account. Can we do a live little thing to show where you would go to do these certain things?
yeah, let me see.
And Marjorie did what I did way back when, put labels on all my devices so I knew which edition they were, and which account they were assigned to, right? I did the same thing. I had all these labels on everything because I do a lot of, I've got a lot of devices, and sometimes we do events. And so you want to make sure everybody has the ability to function, right? Whatever. When we do events, we always do things in a very simple way, like using just the gold edition with just those programs as a demonstration. That's what I like. But sometimes people want to get more involved.
Yeah, so
Um,
if you go to this after you logged in, you'll be at your main shop. But if you go to the top part by your name and then pulls up the menu, you have back office, orders, rewards. If you've earned any free devices or programs, that's where they would be, where you can claim those. License management, a new feature where you can buy a program or a module in advance on your account and then assign it to a specific Healy device later, or move it from one device to another, that kind of thing. Subscriptions, if you have any monthly subscriptions, this is where you manage those. But devices, this is where we were talking about it. This would show all the devices that are on your account. So if you go to this particular section, I have a lot of devices on my account. But this is, and it tells you which edition they are and the serial number there too. But what we were talking about earlier, as far as device transfer, this is where, say you have two accounts, you want to consolidate it to one. If you log into the other account that you kind of want to get rid of or no longer have really active, it'll pull up this. As soon as you get to this section, it tells you what your 12-digit ID is. And then you can pick the device you want to transfer. So if you just have one on that account or two, it would just have a few. You would pick that device. You put in the 12-digit ID of the account you want to transfer to, so the account that you want to keep, and click Start Transfer. And then the only thing else you have to do is log back into the account that the device is being transferred to, and you'll see in the active transfer section, you'll basically need to accept that transfer to that new account. And then after you do that, that device is officially transferred from the old account to the new account and can now be managed fully from the new account here.
So Lisa's having a hard time because she says I don't have that same screen. So let's do this for a moment. You're in the wrong website. That's the problem. I guarantee you're in the wrong website. You should not be in your back office page. You need to. All this takes place in the shop. So log out of your back office. Right. Get out of the back office. I highly also recommend that you close the browser. Right. Close that page that you're in, because the PC holds cookies and you wind up in accounts that you've logged into prior. So I typically will close all the windows. Okay, all of the windows in my browser. I will open one window. I will go to the US shop page. It's the US shop page, right? Henry put the link up there earlier. It's just us.healy.shop. You open that page. That's where you log in. Okay, log in. Or if you still are not able to log in, well, even though you were able to log into your back office, does not necessarily mean you're able to log into the shop, because if it's an old back office, you know, that I don't know if that's even activated. I remember Lisa, you saying it's been a year, so we want to make sure you're in the current spaces, right? That's the us.healy.shop, and if you're redirected to your back office, that's because of cookies. That's on your computer, and you may need to clear all the cookies in your browser. Yeah, you can do incognito, but you can clear all the cookies in your browser history and then try to start fresh again. You could also try incognito and try to get over to that shop page. That's the key significance. To see what Jake was presenting is required from that shop page. Okay.
The only other thing, because I saw that Lisa said that, you know, she has a different phones that she gives to people, as well as different Healy devices. There's this feature that a lot of people don't know of, which is it's somewhat hidden, but it's definitely there, which is the demo experience that can be accessed by using the Healy Advisor app. I strongly recommend that you watch that video that I shared there, because that's where I explain how to use that feature. It's basically a simplified demo experience that allows a potential client to use Healy for whatever goal they want to have. So if they're looking to focus on energy, they're focusing on sleep, they're focusing on mood improvement, etc., all they have to do is download the Healy Advisor app. They would enter yes, I have a demo device. They use that Healy that you give them, and it would be a simplified experience. That way they don't need to learn about all of the other features that the Healy has, which, yes, the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app is great. The Healy 2 app is great. But when you're new, you don't want to necessarily be overwhelmed by all of the potential that Healy has to offer. You just want to basically have a taste of the product, so that then they can experiment themselves later. So I find that this is a great experience for for those who just want to have a very pragmatic approach to, okay, how can this help me? Then they use it that way, and then they decide if they want to get them themselves and actually explore all the potential that the Healy has. But I definitely recommend understanding how to use that demo experience, because it's there for specifically for that.
So Lisa's still having some trouble getting over there, even incognito. Once you've cleared cookies, I would highly recommend that you reset your computer, shut it down, start it back up, allow that new fresh opening to then you can, this is some of the issues we've had for quite some time, is the cookies and all that browser history stuff that keeps defaulting. It's great to have these assistant systems that help us get to where we navigated before without having to navigate there, but it's not very handy when we're trying to not navigate there. So,
Yeah, and just one last thing for Lisa too, like that link, the US.Healy.shop, that should technically only take you to the Healy shop. You're gonna see that the back office link is a complete different one. So I would just try to click on that link and see if it actually takes you to the Healy shop, because it technically should. The back office link is a completely different one.
and you can do it from this chat right here. Just go ahead and click on that link that Henry just put there for you. Click on it and see where it takes you. Okay. So that should take you directly to shop, so that bypasses everything else. All right. All right. So once you're there, that's where you can reset your password. That's where you can even test your login credentials. And if it says nope, sorry, then you're gonna have to do some reset stuff, right? So hopefully that gets you where you want to go. We're here every week, Lisa. So if it doesn't work out, come back and see us next week. Of
Except,
course.
except next week though. So next week is
Oh,
Veterans Day. Next Tuesday is Veterans Day, so it's a national holiday, and we're not going to be working that day here at Healy World. But the following week we will be back, November 18th. But hopefully, I'm sure you'll get this resolved before that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, good luck, everybody. So thank you guys. We're out of time. It's been awesome. I really, we all enjoy helping out and answering and solving things. We always love to see the mystery solved live on the call. So hopefully that'll be your experience, Lisa. You'll be able to solve this live shortly. If not, again, we'll be back here on a regular time. So guys, thank you very much for your help today. Thanks, audience, for being here. It was another wonderful Tech Tip Tuesday. We'll see you next time. By the way, folks, if you want to save that chat, if you don't know how to do that, up there where it says Healy Tech Tip Tuesday, the top of the heading of the chat, there's 3 little dots over there on the right. Click on those. At the end of our call, when we're all done, on your PC, if you're on your PC or laptop, there'll be a message that says, the chat file will be there. All that stuff will be there for you. All right. Meanwhile, take a look for the recording to come on the YouTube channel next couple days, and review what we did. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. See
Thank you,
ya.
everybody. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.